I just cannot believe what is happening. My mind is blown. Due to the hazards, injuries, and deaths related to the gel fuel cans or the fire cans like they use for catering, I decided to make my own using the purest burning fuel. It's actually more than 99% pure. There's no fumes, smell, or smoke, and if the fire touches this, the only thing that's going to happen is the fire will simply go out. You may be surprised. Olive oil. Olive oil dates back as far back to the Bible days. Even Jesus had an olive oil lamp. I had to make my own cans, which is why this video is kind of like two DIYs in one. Let's begin. I'm going to start this off by showing you how I created the wicks for these fire cans. So I'm going to grab something heavy and a pair of pliers. You can use anything that is 100% cotton. Always make sure there's absolutely no polyester mixed in with the cotton. Now it can be like an old sock, shirt, or even a mop. These are really, really easy to remove from the mop head. Easy to work with. Tie 3 strands in a knot, and then I just grab them with my pliers, and then I place something heavy on top of my pliers and begin to braid. Then I just tie a knot on the other side, and I made several of these. Then I just cut each of the ends where like they're fraying. I just cut those off, and I set those to the side for later. Now I'm going to show you how I made my fire cans. These are so much fun. It's really neat and easy. So you're going to need 8 soda cans for this part. I make a slice in the side of my can with a box cutter near the bottom, big enough to fit my scissors in there so I can make a cut all the way around my can. Later, I figured out that I could have just actually cut right into the can and not even used the box cutter, but whatever's easier. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just leave enough material so you can smooth out your edges a little bit better after your bottom is detached. I repeat this 8 times, which will give you 4 tops and 4 bottoms. The 4 top pieces, we're simply going to create or drill a hole in the center of the can for our wick. Now you may have noticed I'm doing all this work on top of a dish towel, and that's so I can easily keep my workspace clean. So every so often I fold my towel up and I shake it off outside. I drill a hole in the center, then I drill 7 or 8 small little vent holes around the top, and be sure you wipe or rinse away any of the metal remains as you go. Now with the bottom piece, I take a pair of just basic pliers and I slightly bend the can going around. Be sure not to grab and like crunch the can right here. You just want to grip it enough to where you can make the little ridges or the folds in the can. You do not want to create holes in the aluminum. Just apply enough pressure to create those ridges going all the way around. Now here would be the best time to paint these if you wanted to paint them. I did that a little bit later, but I wish I had have done it at this point. So I'm going to thread the wicks through the can, and I already had mine soaked in oil from the previous attempt with the sardine cans, but you can soak yours ahead of time if you want to, or thread them dry. This part is really, really important. The wick should fit loose enough through the hole so that there is no strain when pulling the wick, back and forth or up and down. But it should not be too loose that it falls back down in the can. See, what will happen is when you light it, it'll automatically feed itself more wick as it burns, but it can't do that if the wick is too tight or if it gets kind of snagged on something. So be sure it pulls through smooth with absolutely no resistance. So if you thread yours dry, all you have to do is fill your bottom can with olive oil and wait until you see that the string is fully saturated, and then you can light it. You accidentally cut too much of the cans off, then you can just stack the can on top of the top part, if that makes any sense, and kind of make a custom fit to the exact height that you want. That's when I took mine outside and I covered the tops and painted them silver. Add olive oil to each one of these, and I put my tops back on. I'm really loving how they're looking. These are super cute. These are so easy. They're adorable and fun to make. Now for the construction of the project. I'll be using 2 of the long canvases from Dollar Tree. And these measure at 3 inches by 11 inches. I simply hold the canvas and I hit the canvas on the table just right so that the fabric pops off the front. I wish. It's definitely not that easy, but what I do want you to know is the fabric has changed from the fabric they had, a few months back. I've always shown ripping right into the front of it, and you don't have to go through all that trouble. Pull up right where the staples are in each one, and if it's being a little stubborn, just take a little knife and cut right there where the staple is, and the fabric will come on out from the staples. In the corners, I used pliers to pull up. This was so much easier than the older canvases. Next, I sanded the little stickers off, which all I had on hand was a fingernail file. But you know what? It worked. And I painted them both with white acrylic paint. I'm going to take one of the new Decor signs from Dollar Tree. Some say Harvest. This one says Thankful. All you do is push down with your finger or thumb, like right in the sides, and the tabs will pop off. You're just going to take those pliers and actually go around, and where you see the little wooden cleats or the little wooden pieces where it's, holds everything together, those are called cleats. And we're just going to take and grab those and twist it with our pliers and remove that so we have one flat surface. We have almost the perfect fit. And to make that a perfect fit, I'm going to tear off one of the skinny long edges. I tore off one of the side tabs earlier when I was taking the little cleats off. But I did one off camera, and I'll let you know that the side tab is going to come off no matter what. I'm doing this is I'm going to have my Thankful sign on the bottom, and I'm going to glue that, and then the side tabs actually lift up and over, kind of cradling the canvas, and I really do love that extra support. So to make a match, I'm going to obviously connect the other tab back on. So I'm going to use duct tape, a heavy duty duct tape, to do that. And then of course I'm going to grab my strong clear adhesive glue, and I'm going to glue the canvas to the Thankful sign. I'm going to lift up on those tabs that we were just talking about. I'm going to glue the tabs to the side. And once that is glued together, now I'm going to glue my other canvas directly on top. And I'm going to go around all of this with a generous amount of glue. Decided to only decorate the tops and the sides of my box. So I started out by adding some peel and stick mosaic mirrors that I'd purchased from Amazon to the lip of the canvas, and I went all the way around with 2 rows. Now you want to be sure whatever it is you glue or stick or use, or if you even use anything, because you really don't have to, but whatever you do, you want to be 1000% sure that there is no overhang, because this project is not going to work if you have something hanging over the lip of this. So now I use the materials from one of the serving platters from Dollar Tree to decorate the sides. I have some pre-cut 1-inch strips that I'd made for a different project that I actually haven't even shown you yet. It turns out these fit perfect, so I just cut to fit these and glue them on the sides with some clear adhesive glue. And I also tie in some mosaic mirrors. Next, I take 4 of the long picture frames from Dollar Tree, and all I need here is the glass. So I remove everything else and set my glass pieces to the side, actually on a piece of foam board. I slip on a pair of gloves and then start sanding the edges of my glass using 150 grit sanding paper. also from Dollar Tree. I go over my edges really, 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 really good so that I know that there is absolutely no chance that this glass is going to cut myself, like I'm going to cut myself or someone else. I go around and I fill my edges. Once they are completely smooth, I clean my glass really good with Windex. Add a good bit of glue across the front of my wooden box. And you just want to go really heavy here, like spread it out like butter on a biscuit. And then set your glass panel on top and press down. Now, don't press it like so firm that it breaks, but press really good. Now, you're going to kind of feel it kind of like a suction, I guess, but you've got a few minutes to set this glass in place. So the glue is going to actually let the glass slide and glide. So you really don't have to be in a big hurry. Slow down and just measure it so that you know you're going to get the perfect fit. I measure 2 inches from the top of the glass to the top of the box. I'm going to place something heavy on top of that, and I'm going to leave that alone and let it sit. Now, that is one of the tricks in this project, is you've got to let your glue cure. I cannot stress that enough. Whether you wait, 4 or 5 hours or the next day, you can go ahead and glue your other glass at this point. So you want to just add glue in the center again, get it really nice and thick, and press down. This piece is really easy because all you're doing is just setting one piece of glass on top of the other. You don't even have to measure anything for this one. Again, set something heavy on the side of it and just let it sit. You do want to wait for this piece to dry, so when you're working on the other side, you don't really have to worry about your glass kind of sliding out of place. So wait till the next day to do the other side. This is just repeating the same gluing process as before. All you're doing really is just spending about 5 minutes at a time gluing the glass panels and just waiting for the glue to dry. That's it. It's that simple. You just glue 2 on one side, wait till the next day, then glue the other 2 on and wait 24 hours. And you're one thing that I didn't show you because my battery went dead on my camera is I went around the edges with masking tape to close the gap between the 2 pieces of glass. It's going to take masking tape, go around the edges and pull down and under, kind of fold that really, really tight and snug so it does close the gap. Now all there's left to do is like the fun part, which is decorating. I'm going to be using some 1-inch craft mirrors and some mosaic tiles. So the canvases actually are about 1 inch. They're just a little bit over 1 inch. So I'm going to use that on pretty much each of the canvases and then go through the center with some mosaic mirror tiles, 2 rows. But I'm going to give you some other basic decorating options because I know I have my farmhouse lovers. So there's so many different things that you could make your floating fire out of. As you saw, I just glued the craft mirrors, the 1-inch craft mirrors, straight across the front on the outside of the glass, giving the 3D illusion. It's just super quick and super simple. I went with a couple of rows of the mosaic mirror tiles in the very center. One thing to note is remember how I said earlier you have plenty of time to set your glass? Well, here you can see the mirrors kind of slide and glide down. So whatever you do, you want to be sure to kind of put some masking tape over it and let it sit to cure. After it's decorated, then you just set your little cans on the inside of your box. And I'm going to be using some of the white Decor rocks that you can get out of the floral section of Dollar Tree. And I pretty much cherry picked these out and like kind of place them in their places because I didn't want to have like a bunch of them like bulking up on me. So I just go one at a time, sprinkling them around, and then I slowly fill this up. I had purchased 3 bags thinking that I might use a little more than 1, but I didn't even use 1 full pack. Once you have your rocks in there, whether it's river rocks or the little white rocks like I'm using, now you can light your flames. Know that the wick has to reach 550 degrees before it will take off. And you may have to hold the lighter to it for a moment, but it will go. Now, when you first light it, at least for me, I did see black smoke, but only just for a short minute. So, what will happen is the cotton will burn for a couple of minutes, not very long, and then it'll turn into a wick. During that time, the flames will be higher, and you can see, as the time goes, you can see how it kind of simmers, and then it'll level out and it will stay at that level for as long as it's going to last. How does it get better than this, friend? This is the safest, purest possible burning fuel. It's actually more than 99% pure. There is no fumes, no smell, no smoke. And Google says it's a renewable fuel that produces no smoke, no odors, except when you put it out. And I agree with that. But I do want to add, it does smoke right when you first light it. Anywho, the flames are non-flammable, non-explosive. If the fire touches the oil, the fire simply is smothered out. You can reuse the cans over and over and over. Olive oil can be purchased at Dollar Tree. It's real easy to get and super cheap to make. You can actually use vegetable oil if you wanted to. I haven't myself, but trust me when I say I have done so much research and digging up information for this project. And I'm also going to link that below, as well as the biblical history. That'll be available in the description box. It's super interesting if you want to check it out.
It is almost 7 o'clock. This thing is still burning. Golly, and it's still not even. Look, down here is actually cool to the touch. You can definitely touch that. I mean, feel a little warmth, like a heating pad on medium or something. Not even hot. I just cannot believe what is happening here. I am utterly in shock. Like, my mind is blown. 7:27 now.
Sincerely hope this was fun and informative for you to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. Tag me if you make it. I love you. Thanks, Creative Characters, for watching this video. Give it a like and a share. Subscribe if you want to see more awesome DIYs on a budget.